Hey, sports fans, and happy New Year to all of you. Welcome to this week's episode of EBC Sports International. I'm your host, Michael Hudson, coming at you live from Seattle, Washington. Thanks for joining us today. So we hope all of you are staying safe and healthy during these interesting times. And today's show marks our 50th, yes, I said it, 50th episode, and we are so excited to have you on board today. So with me are my colleagues who I'm blessed to call my friends. All the way from Alexandria, Virginia, we have EJ Russell Westbrook Gonzalez.
What's up, Mike? What's up, everyone? Happy New Year. And Washington opens the year with a win. We're leaving all those losses last year. Come on, Wizards.
I love it. We also have from Washington, D.C., we have Ken. The Rams are on the cusp of missing the NFL playoffs. Cruise.
Oh, what's up, 2021? You guys know that phrase, new year, new me. Well, new year, new Rams. John Wolford is in, AAF legend. Jared Goff out with a thumb injury. So,
whoa. Nice. Also from British Columbia, Vancouver specifically, we have Jolty, Mr. Twitter, and TikTok, Horvath.
I don't know about TikTok, but y'all can follow me on Twitter at EBC Jolty.
Yes, love the plug, love it. Also from Toronto, Canada, we have Zarita, Mrs. Air Canada, Say.
Hey guys, Happy New Year, and Raptors finally won. Finally. Against the Knicks, I'll take the W.
Tampa Bay Raps.
It's so sad, I'm proud of that.
Baby steps.
I'm ashamed.
And last but not least, we have from Quezon City, Philippines, after a long hiatus, we have Ben Bernaldez.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back. I'm happy to be back on the show and on the 50th episode. I still remember how we started and how we've gone a long way, and looking forward for year 2021 in our sports program.
Absolutely. So before we get started, everybody, I just wanted to remind you that we are by no means experts, but rather a good group of friends giving our opinions on topics surrounding our love for sports. So before we jump into our topics today, let's get you caught up on some news around the sports world. We'll start with Jolty, who has some pretty cool female sports news for us. Z?
That's right. So let's talk about some of the big moments for women in the world of men's sports. The Boston Red Sox are reported to be hiring Bianca Smith as a minor league coach. The former Dartmouth softball player is set to become the first black woman to hold a coaching job in professional baseball. Smith has been an assistant coach throughout college baseball since 2013. The Red Sox have not yet made an official announcement on the hiring. And the big news in basketball, after the second quarter ejection of Greg Popovich, Spurs assistant coach Becky Hammon became the first woman to serve as a head coach of an NBA team. She previously made history by becoming the first full-time female assistant coach in league history. Hammon recounted the experience with the media after the loss to the Lakers. She said, I try not to think of the huge picture and huge aspect of it I try not to think of the huge picture and huge aspect of it because it can become overwhelming. Obviously, it's a learning situation for all of us, but I would have loved to walk out of there with a win with the guys. And before I end this, I just want to share some of the comments from some players regarding Hammond. DeMar DeRozan, who's on the Spurs, said, even in timeouts with Pop as head coach, she is quick on her feet, telling us about defensive assignments and offensive sets we should run. Seeing her in the forefront, it would definitely have been cool to have won for her. And finally, Spurs' Rudy Gay, in my opinion, had the comment of the night when he said, I look forward to the day where none of this is news, just people accomplishing things and everybody having a chance and everybody having a shot at the same thing. Of course, talking about equality in sports. Mike?
Thanks, Z. Appreciate it. We're going to go hit the National Football League, where EJ has a story for us concerning a Washington football team quarterback. EJ.
Thanks, Michael. Yup, the Washington football team has cut ties with Dwayne Haskins and will be entering this pivotal final game against the Eagles with the starting quarterback position up in the air. Dwayne Haskins was the 15th overall pick last year in the NFL draft and earned captaincy honors from his teammates and coaching staff entering this season. However, after poor decision-making both on and off the field, Haskins has headline news about losing his starting position, being stripped of his captaincy, and now has been released by the ball club. After the loss to Seattle A video surfaced of Haskins partying without a mask. This was his second violation of COVID-19 protocols this season, and Haskins was ultimately fined $40,000, which is the highest NFL fine for the season for breaking protocol, and was stripped of his captaincy by Washington. Despite all of this, Haskins still had the starting position against Rivera's former team, the Carolina Panthers, due to Alex Smith's lingering calf injury. This was a chance for Haskins to redeem himself and for a chance for Washington to claim the NFC East title. Haskins failed to step up as he threw incompletions on his first 4 passes and ended the first half with just 6 completions on 15 attempts for merely 36 yards and committed 3 of Washington's 4 turnovers. Even with a bad first half, Rivera still gave Haskins a chance in the third quarter to respond, being down 20-3. Again, Haskins failed to do anything with the ball and was benched in the final minutes of the fourth quarter. Washington failed to close the NFC East after losing to Carolina, and just one day after the loss, Washington decided to cut ties with Haskins. Ron Rivera spoke with Haskins and told him that this move would benefit both parties and wished him well for the future. Entering the final game of the regular season, the starter for quarterback is still unknown. With Alex Smith's injury, Washington has a lot on the line here, but still controls their own destiny, as a win against the Philadelphia Eagles would secure their spot in the playoffs and would claim the NFC East title, which they haven't won since 2015. Back to you, Mike.
Appreciate it, EJ. So we have another story coming at us from the Philippines. Ben, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Mike. Despite the pandemic, most of the Filipino athletes are quarantined. Some are still going on joining some competition. And we start with the Philippines' most prolific amateur boxer, secured a spot in the Tokyo Olympics as early as March after passing the rigors of 2020 Asia and Oceania Olympic boxing qualifiers. Marshall, a 3-time Southeast Asian Games gold medalist and a 1-time World Championship runner-up, not only settled a near qualifier spot, but he also won the whole qualifying tournament, outpointing Adel Khan Amantul to take the middleweight gold. Since then, Marshall has signed a promotional contract with Manny Pacquiao's MP promotion and defeated Andrew Whitfield by unanimous decision in his professional debut. And other athletes have flourished in their fields like Paul Volter, E.J. Obiena, and our friend James De Los Santos. Obiena, the first Filipino to qualify for the Tokyo Games, won gold in the 59 Ostrava Golded Spike, and in the process defeated Olympic champion Thiago Braz and 2012 winner Renaud Ledenu. De Los Santos, our friend who's a frequent guest in our show, pushed Ikata into a public consciousness, racking up 36 gold medals in the competition and solidified his place in the top spot in the world rankings. That's it for me for Philippine Sports, Mike.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it. And lastly, we have another special report from the land of the NBA. Ken, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Mike. So earlier this week versus Brooklyn Nets, 2020 Rookie of the Year, Morant of the Memphis Grizzlies landed on another player's foot. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And suffered what looked like a severe ankle injury. He hopped off the court, fell on the floor, writhed in agony, and after which he was taken to the locker room in a wheelchair. So Morant later returned to the Memphis bench wearing a walking boot following negative x-rays. The Grizzlies announced Tuesday that he'll be missing quite a few games. An MRI revealed that Ja had suffered a grade 2 sprain of his left ankle with an expected recovery time of 3 to 5 weeks. On a regular season, that's not too much, but in this season, it would cost him somewhere between 11 and 18 games, which is potentially almost a quarter of the 72-game schedule. It's not great news, but it could have been a lot worse based on what we saw. I myself, I'm a little distraught because he is on my NBA fantasy team, so I'm suffering quite a bit. I'm wishing the young star a quick recovery. Back to you, Mike.
Appreciate it, Ken. So you're all caught up on sports news around the globe. So don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're going to reminisce on some moments we had on the show during 2020. You're watching EBC Sports International.
galing mong kumanta.
I like your voice. Napaka-rare ng quality ng voice mo.
Masyadong mataas, masyadong maganda.
Ito na lang masabi ko, good luck.
Ang gagaling ninyo. Grabe yung mga pinakita nyo sa amin. Sobrang gifted kayo.
I must say, it's one of the best round na napanood ko.
The year 2020. We embrace the lessons that this year has unfolded to us. We share the same hope as yours, that the coming year would be so much better. And we will still bring you stories, encouraging and powerful, to keep us inspired every single day. On behalf of the EBC correspondents in Australia, Oceania, we would like to wish everyone all the best as we face 2021. Happy New Year to us all.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. So before we get into our official sports topics tonight, I just wanted to first take the time to reflect on 2020. It's safe to say that 2020 was definitely a roller coaster year, but this show continued on. We were able to run 50 successful shows and continue to share our love for sports for all of you to see. Speaking personally, I just want to thank all the panelists here for being so great to work with. It's just amazing how different we are personally. Like we bring so many characteristics to the table, but at the same time, we all share one thing in common, which is our love for sports. So thank you guys. And we also want to thank our amazing team in the Philippines who make us look good every single week. So with that being said, I don't know what's so funny, guys. I'm trying to put my heart out to you guys, but I mean, come on. I expected tears, but it's okay. So with that being said, I wanted to go around the group and just ask what your guys' thoughts were, or your favorite. We'll start with memories first. What were some memorable moments and topics that we discussed? Zarita, how about you?
Sorry, I'm laughing because of Zolti's photo. But that's probably one of my favorites. It's just like you said, the personalities on this show for sure is a highlight. But for sure, watching The Last Dance kind of live with you guys was really interesting because we got to see many takes, especially hot takes with someone saying MJ's not the GOAT.
Ooh.
Those got heated.
Z? I think it starts with a Z, right? The name?
Yeah, the other Z. The other Z. But for sure, watching Last Dance with you guys was one of my favorites.
Awesome. Ken, how about you, buddy? You've been on since the beginning, so any memories that stick out for 2020?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say last year has been like probably one of the best and worst sports years for myself as an LA fan, and also one of the longest and shortest years as a person, just because of everything that's happened. So best because Lakers and Dodgers won, right? And it was great showing you guys my championship commemoration mugs on a weekly basis, right? Love digging that in. I think it's going to be an awesome 2021, and it might be a repeat. So just FYI, I'll have more mugs for you guys. And then as far as like the worst, like the Kobe passing away was probably the worst sports news like I've ever had to report, and just being just having to experience that is absolutely one of the worst things that any sports fan can go through. But as far as like favorite moments, yeah, I definitely say like just us having a good time. Not even just during the filming, but in between shots, you know, when we're just talking like life and sports. Like I haven't met a lot of you guys in person, but I feel like we're all good friends. So you know, I'm very thankful for this show. It's one of those things where, like, you know, we're all stuck at home and we can't really go to these games like what we usually do. But it's great being able to talk shop, talk sports with people around the world. You know, my sports friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Ken, I still remember the day when I think we were like in San Diego watching Tiger, right? And and you got the news. You got the news about Kobe, and I just totally, we didn't even care about Tiger anymore. We're just so devastated.
Yeah, I mean, we left right away, and like, and I just cried in the room for like 3 hours.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I was just shook, and it's just amazing how, even though obviously we don't know him personally, but like it's just, he had such a profound impact on the game. Yep. It's just so shaky. But thanks for sharing with us your moments. EJ, you're kind of new to the show.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like you've been here since the beginning because you fit in so well. How about you,
Thanks,
man? What were some memories that you had?
Yeah, for the show, it had to be during the time of the NBA bubble because that was the opportunity that I was able to meet you guys. And, you know, honestly, me talking to my wife about sports here at home was like, she's not caught up. So, like, when I get to talk to you guys, you know, I feel like I was, like, embraced by you guys. And it is awesome being able to add some new friends in 2020 where, in exactly what Ken was saying, in a time where we're not able to go out the house and, you know, meet or with our regular friends, and this year I was still able to add some friends in my life and family now in EBC Sports International. So thank you guys. But yeah, NBA bubble definitely had to be the best for me because that was the opportunity I got to talk with you guys.
Absolutely. Thanks, man, for sharing. Ben, all the way in the Philippines, any memories you want to share with us?
Well, first of all, the best memory I have having the show, for having you guys on the show, being able to talk about sports in general. This was a long project for us and our mentor, Dr. Dex, and some of us who started the sports segment on every show. We had Ken, I had Ken, Josh, and then Dorita, Mike, and as we grow our roster of sports analysts and reporters and writers, it's fun to see how we grow as an individual, and also we try to be helpful with each other to make sure that we produce a good show. And also in a different topic, the best memory I had, aside from having the show, is when we started the show and having the episodes for the last 10. Michael Jordan and Chicago Bulls was a great episode for us, and we've seen some personalities during that time, and we discovered our group as well. And it's really fun that we talk a lot of things about sports, and still looking forward for more episodes for the show.
Absolutely, and I think, and yeah, just shout out to you, Ben, for bringing on our talent. You know, like you mentioned in your story, he's doing so well. He beat those former Olympians. Thanks for bringing him on the show. And we had couple great guests as well. So definitely thank you for that. Jolty, how about you, my man? Any memories that stand out?
Yeah, for me, it's it's all the behind the scenes stuff, and even some of the bloopers that happen, on the show. One thing that a lot of the viewers won't know is how my internet cuts out probably at least once or twice a show, and the person hosting and the producers in the Philippines, they do an amazing job cutting away from me and moving on to something else. But two things that I do want to bring up. One thing that was on air, just some bloopers. I hope these two don't hate me for bringing it up. But that one time that Aljamin was talking, he was in the middle of a spiel and he was talking and talking, and he forgot to turn his light on, and the sun was going down outside. And so over the 4 minutes that he was talking, the room just got darker and darker and darker until all you could see was the light from his computer shining on his face and nothing behind him. So that was one. And the second one was the time that Carlo Valdez came on the show.
Oh, Carlo.
Carlo is a legend, okay? But it was before the show. Yeah, but it was before the show. He was setting up. He had a blue screen he was putting up behind him. And there were only a couple of us on the show. It was me, Ken, and Zarita. And he put this blue screen up, and he sits down, puts his headphones on, and the blue screen behind him just collapsed. And it was just such a crazy moment. And I feel like we need to record everything from as soon as we log on to when we log off, just to have these memories.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. So, with 2021 coming up, I just wanted to get your guys' take. New Year's resolutions is always a big thing, right? So I wanted to ask you guys next, what is the one thing that you're hoping to accomplish in 2021? We'll start with you, Ben.
As you all know, I have a new child, a new daughter, and still wanted to improve myself. Also, being able to stay healthy for my family, and also wanted to do better in our profession and bring more sports stories to our viewers. And of course, looking forward to having more episodes for the show.
Great goals. Love it. Jolty, how about yourself?
I just hope that even after, things start to open up with the vaccine out and, we're able to, start going to games again and actually reporting at games, we can still continue, this show, whether it's home edition or, live in person. It's one of the highlights of the week during these times. So, my hope for the new year is that we can keep this going and keep it going strong.
Definitely. Ken, how about you? Any resolutions you have?
Yeah, well, strictly speaking to sports and EBC, I would love to get us finally into the NFL, covering Ravens and Washington football team, whatever mascot they'll have, right, EJ?
That's right. That's right.
Baseball also. I think that's the goal. I think we're very well in tune with NBA, and I think whenever that happens again, we'll all be in there. But I think it will be amazing if we can start covering regularly football and baseball games as EBC. I think that'll be amazing for us.
Definitely. Zarita?
For me, as much as I love talking to you boys, I would love to see more women on the show. So I'm going to try to be an advocate for us women, because I feel like we just need to mix things up and be that empowering voice for other women to say, hey, if I'm here, any of the female correspondents out there, EBC or not, they could jump right in.
You're currently the Becky Hammond of BBC Sports.
Oh, yeah. We're recruiting like crazy. I don't know. Some of these girls I think they're just afraid, but kudos to you, Zarita, for not being intimidated.
Keeping us in check.
You guys are soft.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, EJ, how about yourself, man?
Yeah, man. Hopefully, with 2021, a lot of these restrictions get eased off, because honestly, this is the first time I talk sports ever is on this show. I've never been able to cover any live sporting event. So definitely for 2021, if these restrictions lift off, that's definitely a goal of mine. And I know I have some great correspondents here to follow, like Ken and Zarita with her photography. Like, that's probably something else that I need to be improving on. But with you guys' help, and with a bright 2021, hopefully we're going to be able to increase our availability in covering sports news for our audience.
Definitely. Cool. Sounds good, guys. Well, I'll hold you to your resolutions. Hopefully we can grow the show, have more episodes to come. But we also want to thank all the viewers for continuing to support our show, for continuing to watch us. Make sure you share this show with all your friends and loved ones, and keep tuning in with us every single week. And feel free to share with us your thoughts on the sports that goes on as well.
Mike, is one of your goals to cover the Sonics game or what?
Dude, that is an ultimate lifetime dream of mine, is to cover.
Hey, Mike, just say that's funny coming from a non-playoff team.
Oh, I didn't say it. Jolty said it. He said, all right. Thanks, guys, for sharing your stories. Really appreciate it. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break before we dive into the land of the NBA. This is EBC Sports International. We'll return in one moment.
From Toronto, Canada, I'm Zarita.
And I'm Albert.
And the Cesties would like to wish you a
Happy New Year!
And as for 2021, well, our predictions are big things from our team. Go Raptors!
Go Hawks!
Woo!
Hi, I'm Mariella Horvath, and I'm from Vancouver, Canada. Happy New Year!
Factual.
We have to defeat the virus everywhere.
Timely information. Balanced, not only in the country, but also abroad.
I'm certain of one thing.
Interviews that people need to know. Watch Aguila Pilipinas. A 1-hour newscast of reports coming from regional hubs in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Know the important updates in Asia in ASEAN in Focus. Track the latest stories in the provinces in Aguila Provincia. Tune into Mata ng Agila, the evening primetime news program of Net25. Balanced and objective, Mata ng Agila covers national and international issues, tackles news on business, health, science and technology, entertainment, sports and human interest features, and current events. And Eagle News International delivers the latest global reports, impartial, accessible, and up-to-date. It brings to fore EBC's rich international scope and access to valuable information streams.
Well, thank you to thank our help outdoor.
Catch these programs on Net25. You can also watch our news programs through eaglenews.ph and Eagle News Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Hey everybody, welcome back to EBC Sports International. I'm Michael Hudson reporting live from Seattle, Washington. With the NBA entering its second week, Los Angeles Clippers star Kawhi Leonard suffered an injury last Friday where his teammate Serge Ibaka accidentally elbowed him in the face. He did miss the next two games where the Clippers were blown out by a historical margin by the Dallas Mavericks in one of them. Kawhi did make a comeback last night as the Clippers beat the Portland Trail Blazers, donning a plastic mask. Team, with Kawhi less than 100%, how will the Clippers fare? Ken, we'll start with you.
Boardman gets laid out on the floor, right? I'm just kidding. Kawhi isn't going to suffer from this. I mean, if anything, he suffers from having a bad-looking mask, right? I think it's probably number 4 in all-time masks. Number 1 has to be Rip Hamilton, just because he's, Rip Hamilton, the mask guy. Number 2, Kobe with the black mask. Number 3, LeBron with that black mask. And then I don't know. I would actually say Kawhi probably looks the worst in a mask. That mouth thing, they call him leather.
Yeah, that's
right. But I mean, he played last game. He looks great. The team overall looks great. I mean, they're down 7 right now in the fourth quarter with 5 to go against the Jazz. I think they'll be fine in general. I mean, with their pickups of Serge Ibaka, Serge Ibaka, along with Nicholas Batum. I think Nicholas Batum has been the X factor for this team in this early season. I was surprised at how good he looked. I thought he was going to come in washed, but I think this guy might be the ultimate X factor to get these guys to potentially be at the top of the West. I think the Lakers coming. I mean, I know I don't want to spoil our next segment, but I think with everyone else still like coming into the season, the Clippers are coming in like very, very hot. Other than that 51-point loss the other day, which was absolutely embarrassing. You know, I as much as I hate the Clippers, I think it's very undeserved that all the hate that the Clippers get. I know they lost a 3-1 lead last season in the playoffs, but you know, they don't get a lot of respect that is due when they do win. But when they lose, it's like the entire NBA and all of the fans just like go after them. And then I feel like Paul George has a nickname for every single thing he does. For when he had that pass, the Shaq and
good
pass to the ground.
Horrible.
They call him Peripheral P. You know, like it's just insane.
Someone called him PG-13%.
Yeah, it's pretty sad how many memes there are for the Clippers when they play good ball, and they're playing very well under Tyronn Lue. I think if they're anything less than Western Conference, in the Western Conference finals, then I think it's a very disappointing season. But I'll leave the Laker talk to next.
All right, EJ, your thoughts on Kawhi?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, whenever we see a star player put on a mask, it just seems like they get superpowers and they perform a lot better, right? So he's a masked hero now. I mean, he did great against Portland, played 30 minutes, finished with 28 points on 9 of 17 shooting, hit 3 3-pointers, even had a highlight-worthy block that reminding everyone why he's called the Claw. It was funny because in the post-interview, he was joking, saying that Serge Ibaka is now on the trading block for the Clippers, and he was asking if anybody wanted to go and take him off the Clippers because he was mad at what he did to him. But, I mean, the Clippers, like Ken said, are playing great basketball. You look at them, Paul George, and no matter how many nicknames he has, he is still playing well, minus probably this game against the Jazz that's going on right now. But, hey, the Clippers are on top of the West, and a big reason for that is because of Kawhi Leonard, and as long as he's on the floor, they're going to be relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you know he's a huge piece there. I was surprised he didn't miss more games. Just how bad. I mean, there was literally blood everywhere when he was on the floor. Right, I was just like, wow, what did someone like punch him in the face or something? But
right.
Yeah, it's good to see him back. Zarita, what are your thoughts?
Like you said just now, I'm surprised he's not out more, just the way he went down too. It was kind of like I was worried he was concussed because he immediately kind of just hit the floor. And like you said, there was so much blood, but at the same time, it's a mouth injury, right? Does the mask help? Like I feel like it's so unnecessary and it's so extra, but then that's very Clippers on brand. So I don't know. I think, yeah, he's going to be great. You saw what he did when he's not 100%. He went all the way to the finals. So if he has the right support system, this man is unstoppable. For me, it would be a fail if they don't go to not even the Western Conference finals. I think they might actually be able to beat the Lakers. So for me, I do see them getting to the finals. But we'll just have to wait and see. But the Clippers are going to be just fine. Whether or not Kawhi's on the floor, I think they're better equipped now. And there's something about Serge, which I absolutely hate that he's playing like this, because he wasn't that guy for us in the Raptors. But there's something about adding Serge. Maybe it's the chemistry now that's clicking because Kawhi has someone like Serge to kind of bounce off of. But we'll see.
Definitely. So Ben, where do you think the Clippers are going to end up by playoff time?
I think they're going to be fine as long as they don't repeat what happened last year in the playoffs with the Denver. And they, like what Zarita said, they're better equipped with some players. With the addition of Ibaka and Nicholas Batum, I think this year they will reach the playoffs and hopefully reach the finals. And I just have the mask of Kawhi is really kind of disturbing. It's like Hannibal Lecter. It's a new thing for me. So I guess, like Zoe said, it's a mouth injury. I think he's just protecting his jaw and his mouth. But his eyes and mouth are exposed, but it doesn't affect him that much. So again, they'll be fine. And Kawhi will still be Kawhi and scoring a lot of points to the team.
Gotcha. So Zarita, you mentioned earlier that you think that the Clippers can beat the Lakers, which is music to my ears. What do you think they have to do to beat them?
I think for them, it's a lot about chemistry because they're so talented. But we saw the breakdown of the Clippers. I think it came down to chemistry. Probably the guys on the team, first time playing with Kawhi, didn't understand how much power he has over this organization. So it got to them. And the Clippers, I hate to say it, are the team that everybody loves to hate because the personalities on this team is so strong and so outspoken that when they do fail, we're like, haha, told you so, humble yourselves. So I think, like I said before, with Serge's personality, he's that locker room presence that a team needs to calm everybody down and keep them in check. So now that they have that, I just don't see them, taking the Lakers maybe game 6, 7 in the Western Conference Finals. But I do think, I hate to say it, they can get to the finals.
Well, we will definitely find out. So they are currently playing the Jazz right now. I think they are down. But we'll keep you posted on the rest of the games throughout the season. So sticking with the NBA, the team next door, the Los Angeles Lakers, last year's 2020 NBA champions, have started the season at 3-2, losing their first game of the season to the Clippers, and then winning their
4-2.
4-2. They did win tonight, losing their first game of the season to the Clippers, and then winning their next 2 before dropping another loss to the Trailblazers. They won last night against the Spurs and tonight as well. Ken, why do you think the Lakers have been on such a roller coaster so far this season?
Well, I mean, I wasn't on the show last week, but I mean, it's one of those things. I think there were 71 days before removed from the day they won the championship against the Heat to the start of the season. That's nothing. I mean, as a fan, I love it, but as a sports, as an NBA player, that is challenging for anybody, right? I mean, everyone else had months, especially the non-playoff teams. They were off for months, almost an entire year. And the Lakers got a little over 2 months, and you're back to having to play the next NBA season, which is rough. There was no preseason. There was no summer league, right? And so it's one of those things where Frank Vogel, as their coach, knows that he has to be able to balance the minutes of these stars, especially LeBron James, who's coming into his 18th year, right? I mean, the guy loves to play. He got a triple-double tonight. But at the same time, too, like, he can't just have him play 35, 40-plus minutes every night, or else by the time the playoffs come, even someone as superhuman as LeBron James is not going to be as spry and as ready body-wise for a long playoff run. And I think that's why it's important that the Lakers be able, and I think Frank Vogel knows this, it's important that he balances things out, ease them into the season, and as the season goes by, tighten up his lineups. Right now, everyone's playing, right? I think like almost every game, all the players are playing. So I think even their third string bench, we usually don't get time, and so I think he's trying to figure out the best lineups. So by the time the playoffs come in, they're rolling. Everyone's getting the proper minutes. But right now, it's all experimental, which means throw in a couple games here and there, which is fine.
So, Ben, with the Lakers, usually a lot of experts, they talk about having to turn on a switch. Do you think the Lakers are good enough right now to just turn on the switch and then start getting on a winning streak? Do you think they're kind of just in that bored mode right now? What do you think their psychology is like?
For all the Lakers fans who don't have to be alarmed, I think it's basketball. It's bound to happen for a championship team to lose the first 2 games, 3 games, at the beginning of the season. we look at this season is different because they rest for a short period of time, and the next season started. I think the Lakers will be fine, and they're bound to go to the championship. And with their lineup, with an addition of some players like Marc Gasol and some good players, I think they are still on their way to getting a back-to-back championship. But there's still a lot of teams are also vying for that spot, and Lakers shouldn't be that relaxed this season because we have the Warriors and other teams like Clippers and even some powerhouse team are trying to get back on the championship against the Lakers. And for me, the Lakers, they're still a championship defender. They're going to defend the title. And I hope that there will be no injuries in their lineup. Because if there's one problem that the team has, it's injury of their star players.
Gotcha. EJ, what do you think the number one thing the Lakers have to do as far as to be able to repeat? What's the one thing that they have to change from their play right now?
I mean, definitely it's just that cohesiveness because they changed basically half of their roster. I know Ken was saying that the reason why they're playing bad is because of that short off season, but the fact is half of their players weren't even on that roster because of all the additions. You get Dennis Schroeder, Wesley Matthews, Marc Gasol. I mean, these guys are still getting integrated into the system. I think that's the reason why they're playing the way that they are. But I mean, they're definitely not out of it. If you want to look at the standings of the league, the Denver Nuggets are at the bottom of the West. This is a team that went to the Western Conference Finals. And then you look at the Eastern Conference Finals, Milwaukee is at a 500 record. The Heat aren't even in the top 10 right now. And it's just an early season. Right now, everybody's just getting the kinks out, especially those who are joining their new teams. So everyone in the league, including the Lakers, once they get that cohesiveness down, being able to play with one another, then they're going to be fine. We're going to start seeing these records change dramatically and seeing how the playoff picture will really get in probably 20 games into the season.
Gotcha. Jolty, did you have any thoughts as far as where you think the Lakers will end up this season?
Well, I mean, the Lakers, they'll be fine. They got LeBron. What I did want to say is I wanted to thank you for leaving me out of the basketball conversation because as a Knicks fan, I have zero basketball credibility. So thank you.
Oh man, the Knicks. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Well, hey, great takes, everybody. When we come back, we're going to talk NFL and also have our infamous question of the show. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jolty from Vancouver, BC, Canada. And from my family to yours, we want to wish you a Happy New Year and go Vikings!
Hi everyone, I'm Jana Palasigi from Orange County, California, wishing everyone a safe and happy new year.
Hey everybody, my name is Michael Hudson with EBC Sports International. I'm here in Seattle, Washington, and I wanted to wish all of you all around the world a very happy new year. So please stay safe, stay blessed, and keep dreaming big. Take care.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business every Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. Open for Business, from vision to action.
This year may have challenges in different ways, yet we know the better days are coming. And as we welcome the new year, we will continue to bring you news and stories around the ASEAN region. On behalf of all the EBC correspondents of ASEAN Bureau, We wish you and your family a healthy and happy new year.
Hey, sports fans, welcome back to EBC Sports International. I'm Michael Hudson from Seattle. The NFL enters its last week of the regular season. I won my fantasy football league, by the way. There is still a lot of movement going on in each conference. So the Green Bay Packers and the Kansas City Chiefs each have firm holds onto the number one seed in their respective conferences, which means that they will have a bye in the opening week for the playoffs, which will be next week. Jolty, we're going to start with you. Do the Packers and Chiefs close the deal and hang on to the top seeds after this weekend?
Yeah, well, I think the Chiefs, they have a 2-game lead with only 1 game left, so I think they are already clinched the top spot in the AFC and have home field advantage throughout the playoffs and the first round bye. The Packers, however, they need to play a Bears team that needs a win to get into the playoffs. I mean, to get a first round bye and home field advantage, they need to win against the Bears, like I said, who are hungry for the playoffs. If they lose to the Bears, that opens up a whole mess of things, because New Orleans can clinch with a win, a Green Bay loss, and a Seattle win, which, I mean, Mike, come on, Seattle's going to win, right?
Of course. Come on. Every week, baby.
Okay, good. Because if Green Bay loses to the Bears and New Orleans, who actually, breaking news about 3 or 4 hours ago, Alvin Kamara has tested positive for COVID, so he's out this weekend.
Nice.
That's big.
Tiger played it all.
He's out. So they have to play the Panthers, who, I mean, obviously they don't have Christian McCaffrey either, but they got to play the Panthers this weekend. If New Orleans loses and Green Bay loses, Seattle clinches the first.
Let's go. That's the
home
best
field advantage.
That's the
so for everyone's.
Thank you, Jolty.
So for everyone's sake in the NFC, they need that to happen, because I don't know if you guys saw last week's game with Tennessee going into Green Bay. If it's snowing in Green Bay, no one is winning in Green Bay except
automatic
for Green
loss. Bay. Absolutely. Right. EJ, your thoughts? You think the Packers are going to hold on in the NFC?
Right. Yeah, I'm going to have to say that the Packers are going to close out their season with a win against the inconsistent Chicago Bears, just because that's what they are. They've been inconsistent. As desperate as they need that win, I think Packers know what's at stake, and they know if they get that home field advantage, like Zolty said, that it's trouble for all the other teams. So, yeah, Packers, I think, going to play their best and close out the season with a win here.
Gotcha. Ben, what are your thoughts? You think Packers are going to run the table?
I think so. Green Bay Packers, they have a chance. Keeping my fingers crossed. And no injuries happen to the team.
Definitely. Gotcha. So we're going to move on to our next topic real quick. We're going to stay with the NFL. So it's safe to say that the MVP race is going to be between Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers and Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. So I want to get your guys' take. Who wins the MVP between these two and why? EJ, we'll start with you.
Man, although Kansas City has the better record, right? It doesn't matter, because I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to win the MVP. He has less offensive weapons at his disposal compared to Mahomes. He has Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, Le'Veon Bell, and then you go to Green Bay, and basically all Aaron Rodgers has is Devontae Adams, who is a 99 overall ranking in Madden, but that is just one weapon, right? So, and on top of that, he leads the NFL in TDs, Aaron Rodgers, with 44, and only has 5 interceptions on the year. Better records on both ends than Mahomes. Also has a better completion percentage at 70%. I think that despite the better record, Aaron Rodgers definitely deserves the MVP this season.
Definitely. Sounds good. Ken, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Patrick Mahomes has maybe 3 or 4 more State Farm commercials this season than Aaron Rodgers. So I think he deserves the MVP of State Farm commercials. I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, Packers are closing out the season. I think it's all about storylines closing the season, right? Packers are closing the season. I mean, not including tomorrow's game, with running at 5-game win streak. So they're going strong into the playoffs. So I think as far as narratives, Aaron Rodgers has a better story, and I think that might lead the voters into leaning his way.
Jolty, Mahomes or Rodgers, who wins?
Well, I mean, I think Rodgers is going to win, but I just want to throw it to someone else who, if we rewind it back to week 2 of the NFL season when we had this conversation about the way too early picks, I threw a name out there, and that was Josh Allen, quarterback from the Buffalo Bills. He is currently number 3. So you got Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, and then Josh Allen. This guy has more passing yards than Aaron Rodgers. He's under Patrick Mahomes, but he has more rushing touchdowns. He has 8 rushing touchdowns and 418 rushing yards on the season for a quarterback, and 34 passing touchdowns. This guy, for only his third season in the league, this guy has taken over the league by storm. And Rodgers is getting old, so it's going to be a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen show from now on.
Ooh, yeah. That's definitely a good point, Jolty, especially with the Bills winning the AFC East in what? I think it was like 20 years.
First time in 20 years.
Brady left, so really good accomplishment. They look really good right now as well. Ben, who do you think wins between the MVP race this year?
They're both good players. Football is a team sport. I think Rodgers deserves to win this year.
Definitely, yeah. I think both are amazing, fun to watch. Feel blessed. We're blessed to be in their eras to see, such great quarterback play. So we'll definitely see what happens. We'll keep you posted on that. So we're going to enter our final portion of the show tonight. As always, we have our question of the show. And recently, golf legend Tiger Woods and Los Angeles Laker LeBron James celebrated their birthday on December 30th. Tiger is 45 years old. LeBron is 36 years old. Can you believe it? I definitely don't. So I just wanted to ask you guys, we'll go around the group real quick. Just give us your favorite moment for each athlete or just one of the athletes. Zarita, we'll start with you.
For me, for Tiger Woods, to be honest, I don't watch a whole lot of golf, but seeing him play with his son and how much they're alike, that was definitely a highlight. And LeBron James, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I think I'm coming around to appreciating him because I feel like his time's slowly coming to an end. No, I'm just kidding. But just his leadership throughout the whole bubble, I think was really, really fun to watch because he understood his role and how much of an impact he can make. So definitely his leadership throughout the bubble and kind of navigating all of that for sure.
Jolty, how about you, my man?
Yeah, well, with Tiger Woods, Zarita stole my answer. It's, how much him and his son are alike, in the fist pumps and everything. With LeBron, it's got to be when he lobbed it up to Dwayne Wade and then, runs into the basket, arms sticking out. Yep. A little foreshadowing, it's going to be when he signs for the team that Bronny gets drafted by in 2 years.
Well, it's going to be soon. Ken, how about you?
For LeBron, it had to be this last bubble season where, he held up the 4 fingers for 4 championships, 17 rings for the Lakers, and he earned his respect. This one was for Kobe. And then for Tiger, it had to be that, I think it was a British Open in 2006, right after his father passed, and he was able to get like a 2-shot win. That was amazing to see.
Yeah, definitely. EJ, how about you?
Definitely for Tiger, it had to be the Masters. His reclaiming in the 2019 year. It's just awesome journey back to the mountaintop. So that definitely for Tiger. And for LeBron, blocked by James. I think the most iconic moment of his career is that block on Iguodala.
Definitely. And Ben, how about you real quick?
Wood made steady progress to the top of the team of golf in his first tournament in 5 years at the Tour Championship 2017. In his first major in 11 years, at the 2019 Masters. As for LeBron, I think his win with the Lakers this bubble season, I think that's also redemption for him, having his second season with the Lakers, and also giving honor to Kobe.
Yeah, definitely. And mine for sure is when LeBron dunked on Tim Duncan. Can't forget that. That one stood out the most. And with Tiger Woods, it would have to be the Masters when he won, because he hadn't won a major in like 10 or 12 years or something like that. So awesome stories, guys. Thank you so much for sharing. That's all the time we have for this week's edition of EBC Sports International. On behalf of everyone on our panel, thank you for joining us. And be sure to tune in again next week. Make sure to visit our websites at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at EagleNewsPH to join the conversation. Follow Jolty as well. He just showed his handle at the beginning of the show. And from Seattle, I'm Michael Hudson, and we all want to wish you a very happy New Year 2021. This is EBC Sports International. We live in interesting times. Go Hawks.
Rams.
What up, sports fans? I'm EJ Gonzalez from Alexandria, Virginia, and on behalf of EBC Sports International, we'd like to greet you all a happy and prosperous new year. Now, as for NBA, as much as I would love for my Washington Wizards to take home that Larry O'Brien trophy, my prediction for this year is that the Los Angeles Lakers will be repeating as champions of the NBA. As for the Super Bowl, it really comes down to two teams for me, either the Green Bay Packers or the Kansas City Chiefs. But I think that too will be a repeat by the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is just too nice. Thank you all again on behalf of EBC Sports International. Thank you for watching, and we wish you a happy new year.